Teaching kids manners. This is often quite a controversial subject. People have very wide and varied opinions on this. This is just what I do. My name's Hannah. I'm a homeschooling mum of 3. I've always gentle parented. Some of the stuff I've posted has been helpful to other parents, so that's what I'm doing. So here's what I do when it comes to manners, particularly saying thank you. I think often we can underestimate how much dignity kids feel, and so if we publicly correct them, if they take something off someone and they don't say thank you, and we say thank you, it can actually be really embarrassing for the kid. I would feel really embarrassed if I'd forgotten to say thank you to someone and my partner shouted across the cafe or something, say thank you. I would feel really humiliated. And I think sometimes we can forget that kids feel the same. There's a few ways they'd handle this depending on the context. If we are in a situation where, let's say there's an older generation around, let's say we're going to a family event, not my family, they're really chill, but a family event where it's expected that kids would say thank you, I would coach my kids on the way. And I would say, just to let you know, saying please and thank you is really important to these people, so please could you remember to try and do that. If there was then a situation where my child was given something and they didn't say thank you and I felt that the family member was going to be upset, if it was appropriate and I didn't feel it put any pressure on the child, and this completely depends on the child, I might wait a minute and then gently whisper into my kid's ear, I think they'd really like if you said thank you. I would not force my child to do it. Also in this situation, what I would do is say thank you enthusiastically on behalf of the child. So when the child was given something, I would say thank you so much, that's so lovely, really kind, thank you. We really appreciate that. You can fill in the gap for your child. It's not your child's responsibility to please adults. Another thing I would do is point out the behaviours of the child that are clearly behaviours of gratitude that we miss all the time. So if a child is smiling, ripping off paper, going, yes, I really love this is amazing, I would say to the adult, oh my gosh, look how much they like it, thank you so much, they're so grateful. And I would literally be narrating the behaviours and describing them to the adult. This obviously takes a lot of practice for it not to sound fake. After 11 years, I feel like it's just an automatic thing now, but it does take some practice. It's a way of helping adults recognise that children communicate in wildly different ways to adults. They haven't learned the social etiquette that is contextual to your culture. It takes a while and it is culturally contextual. We're in the UK, in other countries they're not so bothered about please and thank you. So that's something worth remembering as well. And it's also an interesting subject to bring up with kids. Why do we say please and thank you? Why is it so important in our culture? The other thing I think is really useful when thinking about manners in kids is modelling. Because we're in a society that doesn't respect kids as much as it respects adults, it can feel weird to make sure that you have good manners with children. I try and make sure that I'm always using good manners around my kids, saying please and thank you, just in a way that I would do around any good friend, any adult that I respected. In fact, most adults. I don't see any reason why we should treat children as less than adults in any way. And if we want them to grow up and we want them to have good manners, the best way of doing that is to show them how useful they are. You can also explain if you have good manners, people are more likely in general to treat you better. It's just the way life is. I hope that helps. Please do feel free to ask any questions and hit the follow button if this was helpful or interesting.